Hello and welcome. It is Friday, November 13th, 2020, and this is Truly News. I am your host, Jason Van Sickle. It is Friday, and I hope that you have had a great week. As you start this new day, let's begin by increasing your knowledge and expanding your insights with a review of today's news. As always, we start with a look at the top news from across the country. And here are the issues that are leading today's news. The United States continues to reach record daily highs as the country hit 150,000 new cases of COVID on Thursday in a week that saw daily totals consistently over 100,000. Texas was the first state to exceed 1 million reported cases, and California reached that milestone on Thursday. In the meantime, the Midwest struggles as many states confront the scenario of hospitals running out of beds. In election news, media outlets have called Arizona as a victory for Biden, which increases his margin over Trump to 73 electoral votes and 5 million popular votes. In the meantime, election officials working with the Department of Homeland Security released a statement saying that the election was the safest in U.S. history. All of this is happening as Trump's legal team fails to find any evidence of fraud. Unwilling to concede, unable to find fraud, and losing power, Trump now seems to be isolating, ignoring his duties as president, and lashing out by firing people. In other headlines, after hitting Florida with high winds and heavy rains, Tropical Storm Eta moved on to the Carolinas, where flash floods claimed the lives of at least 6 people. In other news, as the holidays approach, retailers are expecting a record number of online purchases as many people self-isolate due to COVID. The increase will likely overwhelm shippers, so place your orders early. And that is your top news for today. Now, in our look beyond the major headlines, let's start with the latest developments in science, technology, and space exploration. In science news, researchers identify brain molecules that control the volume of information flow. A new study published by Dartmouth University in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences has identified a mechanism in the brain that controls the volume of electrical flow between neurons. Identifying this structure could lead to a breakthrough in a number of areas. Better understanding could impact learning, memory, and the treatment of neurological disorders. In technology news, Ring video doorbell recall issued after reports of catching fire. Ring, the manufacturer of the audio and video doorbell, has announced a recall of 350,000 of its doorbell units over concerns that they could represent a fire hazard. The company has received reports that over 20 of its devices may have caused property damage after catching fire. The units being recalled are the Ring video doorbell with product model number 5UM5E5. In space news, NASA Rover is now 100 days away from touching down on Mars. In a press release issued by NASA, the space agency reports that its newest Mars rover is over halfway to the red planet. It takes 6.5 months to go from Earth to Mars, and NASA's newest rover, Perseverance, is 100 days away. When the rover touches down on February 18th, it will be exploring an area believed to have been a Martian lake. It will be searching for signs of microbial life. And that is your science, technology, and space news for today. Now, here is our announcer, Ron Johnson, with ideas for community involvement.
As people self-isolate, it is increasingly popular to order food and supplies online. However, it is still possible to support your community by shopping locally. Local businesses need our support more than ever, so look for businesses that offer local delivery or contactless pickup. Buying locally is a great way to support your community. And that is today's idea for community involvement.
Thank you, Ron. We now return to today's news with a look at health, social, and environmental news. In health news, obesity during pregnancy has negative effects on infants. A study published this week in the Public Library of Science Medicine journal reports that obesity in pregnant women can cause risks to babies. The risks include complications with the pregnancy and increased health issues for the child later in life. The main factor is the mother's high glucose levels, which is common with obesity and diabetes. However, those risks can be reduced with diet and exercise. In social news, new research raises questions about race-based bias in policing. In a study published in the American Sociological Association's Contexts magazine, University of Miami sociologists report that their research found nearly 20% of officers have some level of unconscious pro-white, anti-black bias. They also found that approximately 12% have conscious biases. The researchers claim that the research dispels the myth that, quote, a few bad apples, unquote, cause issues among police. In environmental news, climate change is making hurricanes stronger and longer lasting. One of the features of Tropical Storm Eta that hit Florida and the Carolinas this week was its ability to maintain strength and last longer. Research reported on Wednesday in the journal Nature finds that climate change, which causes warmer oceans, is strengthening hurricanes. The warmer temperatures increase the moisture level, which causes storms to be more powerful and take longer to dissipate. And that is your health, social, and environmental news for today. Now it is time for our Words of Wisdom with philosophy professor Albert Feinstein. And here is Dr. Feinstein.
The Dalai Lama once said, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Here, the Dalai Lama points out the fact that compassion always has positive results. No one ever felt bad receiving compassion, and no one ever felt bad giving compassion. And those are your words of wisdom for today. Until next time, keep seeking wisdom and believing in your incredible potential. Good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Feinstein. Now we take a look at economic and world news. In economic news, weekly jobless claims fall again but still remain high. The weekly jobless claims report was released on Thursday, which is the number of people who filed for unemployment benefits last week. The 709,000 number was lower than expected, showing continued recovery. However, it is still far above the 200,000 posted before COVID. In world news, members of Hong Kong's legislature resign in protest of Chinese actions. In 1997, after 150 years as a British colony, Hong Kong was returned to Chinese control. Since then, the region has been at odds with China with frequent anti-Chinese protests. On Thursday, 15 members of Hong Kong's legislature resigned in reaction to recent Chinese actions. And that is your economic and world news for today. In entertainment news, today's new movie is I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Full of misgivings, a young woman travels with her new boyfriend to his parents' secluded farm. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is now available on Netflix. In newly released shows, today's show is Be Positive. Drew, a newly divorced dad, needs a kidney. Then he runs into Gina, a woman from his past, who volunteers. Episodes of Season 1 of Be Positive are now showing on CBS. Finally, in newly published books, today's book is Clanlands. In this book, the stars of Outlander use various means to travel and explore Scotland. This book is #1 on the New York Times nonfiction bestseller list. And that is your entertainment news for today. As always, we end our podcast with Hope for Humanity, stories about the goodness and kindness that people show each other every day. And here is today's story. Christine Carr, an elementary school teacher in East Greenwich, Rhode Island, used her drawing skills to create a character called Corwin, which is Irish for heart's friend. The character was created to help teach positive lessons to children. The author of a previous book, Carr is creating Corwin booklets for kids to teach them about the power of kindness, fairness, and compassion. And that is your news for November 13th, 2020. Have a wonderful day.